The Grammy-nominated producer behind this hit song, Hills, for international reggae star Protoje, Rian 8TRACK Williams, is my guest this week on the TrailBlazers.
I said I want to be Grammy nominated.
Wow.
And I had no clue. I had no clue what I was going to be nominated for. But I said, I'm going to just manifest it. And I just kept on saying it to myself every day. I got really sick in 2014 and I was taking acupuncture. And I needed like just some music to listen to. So I was listening to Protoje and Chronics.
Protoje's music, it was pretty much life-changing for you because it sort of was like a part of your healing journey.
Yeah, and the funny thing is, I haven't even told Protoje this. Left Bermuda with like $200 in my pocket. You could accomplish anything. Like belief is just everything, you know. So if I don't believe, then I'm already defeated.
Stay tuned.
The most prominent producer then in the industry tell Tony that he could not bust a female artist because
Failing is one thing. Failing publicly is a very hard thing.
I said I was holding my mouth, the lies were going, and I sat and I saw women on the TV just lying bluntly, just like that.
Released the All Media survey, and when you look at the name Ron Mushek, 0, 0, 0.
You know, I had to fend for myself at an early age. In fact, my mother became mentally ill when I was 9 years old.
I sold everything and went to my wife and said, and she said to me, all right, no problem. She will back me. Just leave the house.
From entertainers, politicians, business leaders, and more, the TrailBlazers with Tamara McKayle on YouTube has it all.
That I'm new to this.
I did movies with Denzel Washington. Then I wrote Baps, and that's starring Halle Berry.
You wrote Babs?
Wrote Baps,
Oh no!
Subscribe now for a brand new year of inspiration and strategies to make it from the best of the best. Plus catch up on episodes you may have missed. It's the TrailBlazers with Tamara McKayle on YouTube.
So this week on the TrailBlazers, I am so delighted to have this gentleman, Rian 8TRACK Williams. And as I mentioned in the preamble, he is a Grammy-nominated producer. So many of you may know Jamaican international reggae singer Protoje, and his album Third Time's the Charm had a song on it that many of us love, Hills. Wanna be up in the hills, you know? Anyway, I'm not really a big singer, but the person who produced it, that's like to me the most popular song on that album, is Rian 8TRACK Williams. So it is a pleasure to have you, Rian. Rian is actually from Bermuda, so I'm loving the connection, but he's gonna go into his story, guys. I'm just excited. So welcome, Rian. Welcome, 8TRACK, I should say.
Either Rian or 8TRACK is perfectly fine, Tamara. It's no problem at all.
Awesome. So I must acknowledge that I actually came across, well, I knew of you through my colleagues in Bermuda, Jamel from the Daily Hour show, the team there. Yeah. And I was like, I have to get him because I just love your vibe and your energy. So let's get into your story, 8TRACK, because I understand that first and foremost, the Grammys was recently. So it's not like it's a long time, it's recently. No. How do you feel about, you know, being nominated or having a song that you produced on an album that was nominated?
Yeah. It's a very unreal feeling because last year all I did was manifest that I'm going to get Grammy nominated. But I thought that I was going to get Grammy nominated for another artist that I produced for named Yaadcore.
Oh, I know Yaadcore.
Right, so Yaadcore, he came up with a song called Ready Now. And that song I produced for him. It was actually his first song that is ever released. Nice. So Yaadcore submitted his album, and I am one of the songs on there I produced. But as time went on, Protoje submitted his album later on in the year, and then I was just sitting down and I was just going through my phone, and I shouldn't have been on my phone because I was in a meeting, but I just happened to just scroll through and I saw that his album, Protoje's album was nominated for a Grammy. So I'm like, huh? So I sent Protoje a message and I said, bro, what does this mean? And he called me and he was like, yo, bro, I'm trying to do his accent. You know, he's like, bro, you know,
I know he's talking.
You're Grammy nominated. And so I was like, what? And he was, you know, just congratulating me. And I was just fluid. And my country, Bermuda, found out because it's history being made, you know, and everybody's like, you know, you're the first person to be Grammy nominated in Bermuda and things like that. So because the fact that I've made history in Bermuda, I think that means more to me than just singularly just being Grammy nominated. I think that for me, the actual feeling is from just making history within my country, you know. So it's a great feeling, but it's a very humbling feeling because, you know, we don't get opportunities like this, like from a 22 mile Long Island, 2 miles width maximum. You don't get those kinds of opportunities, you know. So and me and Protoje's friendship has been since like 2014. And from 2014, he kept on saying, don't worry, we're going to get a song. And since 2014, I just kept on sending him songs. And 7, 8 years later, he's like, okay, we got one. And I'm like, really? And once he sent me that confirmation of the song, the video and everything, I was like, wow, like this is about to be big. And even more grateful that that it was released on a major record label like RCA Records.
Yes.
So then I ended up getting educated and informed on that process from a professional business level. And that was just like a wonderful experience, you know, just to go through my emails and see that the people that are included in this email is like so-and-so at RCA Records, so-and-so at Sony Records.
Yes.
And I'm like, wow, like all these people come together just for one song. And, you know, just learning about royalties and distribution and publishing, just all these things I was grateful for. And I thank Protoje because this was my first major record label release. So yeah, it's just been amazing. It's just been amazing.
I can hear the thrill and the excitement in your voice, but most importantly, the gratitude, which I really admire. And, you know, one of the things, as you mentioned, as we were talking about that song, because as I said, that song is actually a favorite of mine. Like, I live up in the hills.
Oh.
So, like, you know, it's like literally, I've had that song playing in the background. Sometimes I do little IG stories that you just, you know, that's the vibe. Yeah, I really love that song. So you did excellent, and we can understand why it was, you know, nominated by the Grammys. So talk to us, 8TRACK, about your story though, because you mentioned something very important at the start about the fact that you were manifesting this Grammy nomination from as early as last year. So tell me about how did you, first and foremost, how did you do that? And then secondly, we can go into your genesis in the beginning, in the music industry.
Sure. So I would say that I was just in a very, very trying time last year, because the fact that you know, we're all coming out of COVID. Yes. And even Protoje, because he flew me up to Jamaica in 2019, and that was my first time to Jamaica, and just coming to Jamaica and then going to the top of the mountain where his house was, where the studio was. That was just an experience.
Yes.
You know, it took like 20 minutes to get to the top, but that was an experience. And I I just remember getting to the top of the hill the mountain, and I just remember just overlooking and just seeing like the whole of Jamaica from the top. And I was like, wow, like this is like a view. And, you know, me and Protoje had a moment where we just talked briefly, and I was just telling him just some things I'm going through. And, you know, he was like, bro, like it's all about the music. Just put it all into the music. And I just remember leaving Jamaica with enthusiasm, you know, that, all right, I'm gonna get back to Bermuda and then just push. And I started to just make music. I didn't make nothing, like I was still sending things, didn't really make nothing that, I guess that, well, everything that I was making, he liked, but it wasn't what was album worthy.
Yes.
And then the following year, I sent him some more. And then that's when I sent him the beat for Heels. And I didn't hear from him for a while. He just told me that he really, really liked it. And then I would say, just last year, you know, at the beginning of last year, I just started to change my mindset with my approach to just life in general. And I just wanted just to have like a more positive approach on things. But when I sent him the beat for Heels, like I said, I didn't really hear from him for a while. And then he asked me, you know, for just more. He asked me for all the files for the beat. And I was like, okay, I guess he's liking it. But as time went on, I didn't really worry about it. And I started to just focus on myself personally, because I was realizing that we're coming out of the pandemic now, and I want to just start changing my mindset towards life from a more positive standpoint, you know? So I was like, you know what? What are some of my goals for this year? And I said, I want to be Grammy nominated.
Wow.
And I had no clue. What I was going to be nominated for, but I said, I'm going to just manifest it. And I just kept on saying it to myself every day. And it wasn't until probably like October, where I felt that it was possible, because when Protoje released the song and then his album came out after that, I was like, okay, I don't know how the Grammy works, but if he submits his album in time, then it's a possibility that, you know, we could be Grammy nominated. And then in November, when I found out, it was just like it was just a wow moment, because I was like, wow, the power of manifestation, but believing as well.
Yes.
You know, because to me, belief is everything. You know, like being a God-fearing man, you know, like faith is belief.
Yes.
You know, it's belief in the things that you might not be able to see, but you can feel. You know, it's things that you feel in your heart that is just right. You know, and belief works with every single thing. You know, like you could lose a loved one, and then you could just still believe that the spirit is still around. You know,
Wow.
or you could be the kind of person that who just sees the world as a small place, because you believe that you could go anywhere, you could accomplish anything. Like belief is just everything, you know. So if I don't believe, then I'm already defeated, right? So
Oh wow.
so
Wow.
I just said that no matter what I go through, I'm not gonna let nothing take away from my belief. And yeah, and just to see the result to that, it was just like, wow. Like I was just so grateful, you know, just so grateful. So yeah.
I love everything that you just said, and my viewers will know that, because I am somebody who believes in believing pretty much.
Yeah.
And I believe that is crucial in the power of manifestation, because a lot of times, unfortunately, we say we want to achieve something, but then we don't believe it. So we don't actually see it happening in our lives. But the moment, what I like was that you said you shifted your mindset. You realized that it was important for you to shift your mindset. And in doing that, and in starting to believe, then it actually came to fruition. So that is amazing. I really love that positivity.
Yeah, and I guess the positivity has just been a part of my life forever, because I grew up not had to work for everything. Had to work for every single thing. Nothing was ever just given to me, from a young age. And even like with this Grammy nomination, even just like how I even met Protoje, I got really sick in 2014 and I was taking acupuncture and I needed like just some music to listen to. So I was listening to Protoje and Chronics all the time. And this is when Protoje came out with his project 7 Year of Fur. And I was listening to it. And when I got home one day, I was like, let me try to get in contact with Protoje. So I went online and Googled Protoje's manager, and I got in contact with his manager, which was his mother. So me and his mother had a phone conversation. Shout out to Miss Bennett, Lorna. We had a phone conversation, and she was just like, okay, well, look, I'm going to give you my son's email address, send him some stuff, and if he likes it, you'll hear from him. And I sent Protoje some stuff. He hit me back probably like 2 months later, to say that, okay, I like what you got, keep sending. Then I sent some more, and then I hadn't heard from him for months because he was on tour. And it was probably like a total of probably like 5 months. And the next email that he sent me was, do you have WhatsApp? If you do, shoot me a message. So shot him a message, and then we started to talk more. And he was just like, yo, the kind of song that you have, it can change. It could be very innovative to reggae. So that inspired me to just keep on making music and sending. And, just like I said, it just for like 7-8 years, I just kept on sending him music. I done one song for him before. He came up with a song called Sandra Foster, and that was more like a mixtape kind of song. So I done that for him, and then after that, he done something on BBC One Extra. He done like a freestyle on Fire in the Booth, and I provided the track for that. And then before me and him got this major placement, he was introducing me to like everybody else, like Kabaka.
Who won the Grammy recently from that?
Yes, big congratulations to Kabaka, because the funny thing is, I produced on Kabaka's last 2 projects, and this was the only one I didn't produce on.
Oh, wow. But you still were part of the winning team.
Right.
In some ways.
Yes, so it's everybody's still crew. So, but he was introducing me to like the crew, and I was producing for everybody else except Protoje. So as time went on, like I said, just kept on sending him stuff. I didn't ask him no questions. I was like, hey, bro, just send you some music, and yeah, just. Like 8 years, 2014, yeah, about 8 years, just sending, and just not even feeling any kind of pressure either. And he done an interview, and he said that. He said, 8TRACK just kept on sending me like beats, and he didn't have no attitude towards it. He didn't ask me a whole bunch of questions. It was just, I'm just saying something for you to check out. So, because it's a process, right?
And indeed, life is a process, and I really appreciate you, mentioning that point in terms of the fact that you were consistent. even when you didn't necessarily see like, okay, maybe nothing big is happening in certain sphere, but the fact that you consistently did it, it paid off and it's paying off. But stick a pin.
That's belief, right?
Pardon?
And that's belief.
Exactly.
You know? Not seeing, but if you keep on, if you keep on staying persistent and consistent, you know, what you believe in, it will manifest.
I definitely agree with that. I wanted to touch a bit on your journey, because you were mentioning in terms of the fact that, which is the story for many people, but you know, you never had it easy when you pretty much came from work from scratch to build your name and to build yourself. And I understand that you started out in the industry very young as well, like as a teenager. So talk to me about your journey and why you decided that this was what you wanted to have a career in.
So I remember I got my first rap album in 1993. I was 10 years old. And I remember just listening to like hip hop, and I was like, wow, like, how do they make music? And 5 years later, I met someone who had like a keyboard, and they was like, you know, just showing me how producers make music on keyboards. So I was 15 years old learning how to make music on a keyboard. And then I just remember being in high school, just telling some of my friends, like, yo, like I make music, like listen to, like I will record it on the tape and play it. And they would be like, man, you didn't make this. And I'll be like, yeah, like I made this. And as time went on, I started to invest more into myself once I got like a job. And I bought like just things that I needed, like speakers, computers, like everything. And all I did was work and come home and make music. Even if I had like a girlfriend at the time, she would just understand that he just loves to make music. So I'm just gonna just be in the background and just listen to him just make music. And yeah, that was my life for a long time. And then I started to get recognition in Bermuda as being like one of the best producers. They used to have like awards there, and I would win like a few times, like best producer of the year. But I wasn't satisfied with that. I was grateful, but I wasn't satisfied. So I was like, how can I get to where the market is? So what I started to do is I started to take trips by myself to America. And I would just research where music studios were, and I would just take trips by myself and just travel to wherever the studios were, wait outside, and hoping that I would see somebody just to give CDs to. And I was doing that for years, and then I would say in 2012, I just made the full commitment to just go pursue my music full time. And in 2012, my mother, she was just like, just go pursue your dreams. Wow. And I took my last paycheck, I put it towards our mortgage and everything else that I had to pay. And I just told my mother, I said, you know, I'm not going to come back until like I'm signed to somebody. And I left Bermuda in 2012. And I remember I started off in Toronto, and then I went to Atlanta. But right before I went to Atlanta, a friend of mine named Twain Butterfield, she said, right, 50 Cent heard one of your beats, and he recorded something to it, and is releasing it on this project is dropping next week. And I was like, 50 Cent? I was like, yeah, right. And she was like, no, it's a real, like, it's the real thing. So she put me in contact with everybody, and I was like, wow, this is crazy. So at that time, I didn't have the name 8TRACK. I was deciding what my name was going to be. So once I decided on 8TRACK, the 50 Cent opportunity came, and then they asked me, what is your producer name? And I said 8TRACK, and that was birth of 8TRACK and my first big opportunity, just every single thing. And yeah, the song came out, and then everybody in Bermuda found out, and everybody in Bermuda was just excited, going crazy. And then I was like, okay, I need to now see what I can do with this opportunity. So I went to Atlanta, and everybody who I was just meeting, I was just saying, hey, I produce for 50 Cent. I'd like to work with you as well. And just through that, just networking and just telling people that came an opportunity with a rapper 2 Chainz and me being signed to him.
Wow.
And, right. So I got signed to 2 Chainz to his management company, Streeters Acts. And then, yeah, I was signed to them for about 5 years, and I was living in Atlanta for about 4 or 5 years. Then went to California, then I came back to Bermuda. So, but just in that time I was signed to 2 Chainz, I just end up producing for all kinds of artists, all kinds of, like, too many artists to name, but artists that are on, Cash Money Records, Warner Brothers, RCA, even done some stuff for artists signed to Sony, done some stuff for BT, VH1, even done something for Lifetime, funny.
A Lifetime, man.
Yeah. Like, I was just producing just everywhere there was an opportunity, I just took. And yeah, so that was my experience living in the United States.
I'm gonna even make you pause a bit, Rian, because just the journey from when you started to pretty much, because at the time, taking it back a bit, you're in Bermuda. Before you went fully into the music industry, you were working otherwise because you had to have another source of income at the time, right?
Mm-hmm.
So for you to even take that risk then, and to say that, you know what, I'm going after my dream, I'm going after my goal. Even prior to that, when you were traveling to just go to different, go to America and figure out things along the way, like, that takes guts and risk.
Yeah. And to make it even more interesting, I only had $200 in my pocket.
What?
Yeah, I left Bermuda with like $200 in my pocket, and I just remember just being in America, and sometimes my own personal transportation was like a U-Haul delivery truck.
Wow.
So yeah, I used to drive around a U-Haul truck, and I wasn't delivering no furniture,
Yes. You just have to do what you have to do.
Because it was a cheap rental. It was only like $20 a day, So yeah. So, but so I made so many sacrifices, but I just didn't stop. And then on top of that, like I said, I got sick throughout my journey. Like, at one point I was like 200 pounds. But then I got down to like 120.
What? And you're a tall guy. You look like a tall guy.
Right. I'm like 6'1", right?
And you got to 120. You were skinny and
120. Yes, I was. And that's where I actually discovered Protoje's music. Because like I said, I had, how I got that sick was just basically just going so hard at one point with, just taking every opportunity to be in music studios. I wasn't eating properly, just like all these things, lack of sleep. And it just caught up to me. And then one day I just got really sick, and it took me like 3 years to like recover. It took me like 3 years to recover, but in that process, I was taking acupuncture, and that's when I discovered Protoje's music. So I probably would not even discover this music if I didn't get sick, you know?
So Protoje's music not only has it like, but it was pretty much life changing for you because it sort of was like a part of your healing journey.
Yeah, and the funny thing is, I haven't even told Protoje this.
Right.
I haven't even told him how I even discovered his music. I haven't even told him that story, you know? So at some point I'll tell him, you know what I'm saying? His always busy, you know what I'm saying?
Let's hope he sees this. And then he will find out. That's awesome. I met him because I was doing a radio co-hosting job up till last year. So he was in studio, we met him and everything, and you know, yeah, so I mean, but his music has always been positive because Protoje is somebody that my friends and I, we've been listening from we were like in high school. So yeah, like so he's like his music is really like very good. So, so continue then, because I mean, as we mentioned, just the fact that you were sick, but you still pushed forward, you were still putting out your work even during that time.
Yeah, very much. And I wasn't as inspired, but I was trying to just stay consistent. So whenever I did make something, so I make like one beat a day. So I like to have at least over 350 beats made in a year, right? And at that time, it was just like a struggle to just make music. But whenever I did, I just sent it to him and you know, to other artists as well. But yeah, it took me so long. But yeah, so just through me getting sick, so many blessings have came from that. And it's crazy just thinking about the things that have came from that. And, you know, life is just a very unpredictable thing. Like we make our own plans. We have goals. But, you know, what is meant for us based on decisions that we make is things are gonna happen. So if it's A, B, and C, A is to be a doctor, B is to be a lawyer, and C is to be a music producer. If I choose path A, whatever is meant for me to endure and go through, I'm gonna go through that to be whatever's meant for me on that path. So for me, with everything that I have endured, I look at it as it's definitely meant for me to be on this path. Some things I can be accountable for, like with me getting sick and, you know, things like that. But it's all to build endurance. It's all to build up my character, me as a man, to learn more about myself, trial and error, you know, things like that.
Tune in next Sunday for part 2 of Rian 8TRACK's riveting story.
I'm Tamara McKayle, a television and radio presenter, producer, communication specialist, and of course, producer and host of the TrailBlazers series. I'm inviting you, yes, you, to join our family. All you have to do is just click that subscribe button right below. Make sure you hit the notification bell so you're alerted as to when we have new episodes. And of course, join our family for weekly inspiring and uplifting episodes that will give you the tools, the keys, and the strategies that you need so that you can blaze your trail.